Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with the Ecom Sellers Group. and I am live on Clubhouse. We're also live on the e-commerce planning Facebook group. And so my passion is helping people get organized, get structured, get focused in their e-commerce business. One of those ways of doing that is to host this daily session so we can talk about the things we need to do to help us to be more productive, to be more successful in our e-commerce businesses. So if you appreciate this, please share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about this planning session that we do every single day at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can join us live on Clubhouse. You can also join us live in the Facebook group. And if you're a person that needs some assistance with your organizing, structuring, planning your e-commerce business and your daily activities, you're just not getting any traction in your business, and you'd like to sit down and talk about it, you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me by going to ecomsellers.com and clicking on the coaching option. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session there. So today's topic happens to be time management, and time management is always an important topic when it comes to your life and your e-commerce business. And we are looking at the Time Camp blog post. It's a great, actually, it's a great list of 15 of the most effective and proven time management techniques. So after we go through that, then we will go through our daily activities checklist, and then you guys are off to the races in Pamplona like I am today. So there's a lot of stuff to get done. I've been hit up all night with sales. So I know I got a lot of sales. So I need to go and look and see what's happening in my business because it's a lot. So in any case, we're going through the 15 most effective proven time management techniques. So let's run through this real quick. So the first one happens to be, and this article, you can find it again on timecamp.com. And it's an article from December of 2021, but it's a great one. So number one, plan your day in advance. Absolutely agree. That is one of the things that we do as part of the e-commerce planning sessions is we're planning our day in advance so that you know what you're going to be focused on, what do you need to do, what are the things you need to accomplish today. It's going to help you build a schedule for your day so you can regain control and stop the procrastination. If you've been procrastinating in your business or you're struggling with just gaining some traction or getting momentum on your road to being $1 million e-commerce seller, then planning your day in advance is actually going to help you incrementally over time to gain that traction, to get that structure, and to get momentum around what you're working to accomplish, which is to be a $1 million e-commerce seller. So I would definitely dedicate time to planning that, and that's what we're going to go through on our checklist here in a minute. Number two, limit email intake. Yes. We can get sucked into the vortex of email. We can also get sucked into the vortex of social media. So limiting your email intake, figuring out when you're going to work on your email and just work on it during that window and don't go back to it. Don't check it throughout the day. Just some people like to do that like either first thing in the morning, or they like to make some progress in their business first and then check their email as they are wrapping up their activities for the morning. You decide what works for you. I just know that we can all get sucked into the vortex of email and social media. So figure out when you're going to check your email. And there's another strategy because there's so many different ways in which you'd run your business. Another person checks their emails. They check them throughout the week for like 15 minutes a day. But then on Fridays, what they do is they spend more time on the administrative side of their business and they spend more time on the email side of their business. Again, you can find one day where you dedicate more time to the things you need to do. Maybe you need to email suppliers. Maybe you need to reply to responses from suppliers. Maybe you need to, you're going to daily respond, hopefully, respond to your customer inquiries. If you don't already have a VA that's doing that for you, and you can hire VAs to check some of that. So then that way you don't get sucked into the vortex. So the VA can send you those emails that are the ones that you only can respond to versus, some standard answers that you can give your VA and they can respond to them. So then that way you don't get sucked into that vortex. The next one is find your productivity zone. Absolutely. I talk about this all the time. There is a most productive time of day for everybody. There is. And you've got to figure out what yours is. And if you don't know, I would challenge you this week or the maybe a full week next week, to just jot down what you do in a day. Jot down what you do every hour. That most productive time of the day is going to reveal itself to you. That may be the morning, it could be the afternoon, or it could be the evening. I can tell you mine is the morning. And so I get more stuff done in the morning than I do any other time of day. If I try to do some of the activities that I do in the morning in the evening, it's not working out for me. It's going to take me twice as long or three times as long to do the same thing that I can knock out in 1 hour. So figure out what your most productive time of the day is, and then try to do those things that are your most difficult during that window, are the things that require the most amount of your brain juices. You have to do some deep thought, focus, concentrate in that window, because you'll actually burn through those tasks that maybe you've been procrastinating about. So consider that. The next one is eat the frog. Let me just see. Okay, so it's prioritizing. It's about prioritizing the most important task first. So I just mentioned that. You can, I said deep thought, but again, you can figure out when it comes to your most productive time of the day. And if you're, um, you can put your priorities first, so you can knock those off. Some people like to knock off the easy stuff. So again, if you're building a checklist type of schedule versus an actual time blocking schedule, figure out what works for you. I prefer the time blocking schedule versus the checklist schedule, because then I can dedicate that focused time in that hour to that one task or those two tasks that require some deep thought and focus. And I can also make sure that I get the priorities done first. The priority is going to change from day to day. Sometimes your priority is your business related priorities, and sometimes your priority is personal. So again, there's going to be a priority that's in your day that if nothing else goes right, if a plane lands on your house, what is the one thing that I need to try and get done today, no matter what? And that is one of your biggest priorities. And then most of the time, it's probably going to be your business, but sometimes it is your family. So don't overlook that as well. Take regular breaks, absolutely. If you're using the time blocking method, I recommend a break. Like every 25 minutes, take a 5 minute break, get up, walk around, go get some coffee, go to the restroom, stretch, whatever works for you. But try not to let that be the time in which you jump on social media, that you jump into your email, or you make a phone call to a friend you haven't talked to in a while, because that's going to throw you completely off your schedule. Number 6, say no and delegate. Yes, outsource those things that you can outsource to a VA when you get to that place. Look, I ran my business for the longest time with no support. It was a solo operation. Me, single mom, two special needs kids, trying to run this business and deal with these kids and try to keep the lights on and keep water coming out of the faucet. I get it, I get it, I get it. But incrementally over time, I saved money. I siphoned money off of my business so that I could eventually get to the place where I could hire my first VA. So my strategy to you is, if you are in that place, allow yourself some grace and mercy. As you start to get more organized and structured, you will find that money, you will find that time. And as you begin to find that money and find that time, then um, siphon off a little bit of money, even if it's $20 a week that you siphon off. Get to the place where you have some money in your coffers to be able to hire a VA. And I would encourage you to try and save at least 3 months worth of income. So for the VA, to pay for the VA. So that way you don't have to think about and be stressed about, how am I going to be able to pay for the VA next month, and then the next month, and the next month. If you have 3 months worth of money set aside to cover that person's salary for 3 months, then you can focus 100% of your time on getting that person up and running. You can focus 100% of your time on the things that you want to give them to do, that's your low hanging fruit activities, so that you can focus on things that generate more money. So try that strategy. I promise you it works. Number 7 is focus and block distractions. We've been talking about that this whole time, about the concentrating on one thing, concentrating on what you need to do. So number 8 is setting goals. Definitely set some goals. You should have daily goals, you should have weekly goals, and you should have monthly goals and yearly goals. So when it comes to your e-commerce business, in order to get to that place, you should have established goals. So set your goals for the day, which is what we're doing with our daily schedule. And just as a hint, we actually do the weekly planning session where we plan in the week. We plan for the weekly session. We plan what we're doing every single day. So we create the actual So there's a weekly template that we build, and that session is every Saturday at 7 a.m. And you can join us on Clubhouse and also in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. And then from that weekly template, we build our actual schedule for every single day. And what that does is that chops down the time that we have to spend on our daily schedule. And all we have to do is tweak it from that point. So again, doing the weekly planning session is going to help you. And if one of your goals is, let's say you're not listing as much as you think you should be listing every single day, depending on your e-commerce model. If you've got a private label product, then you might not be listing every single day. But and if you're doing drop shipping, like you're probably listing maybe every other day. If you're doing print on demand, I don't know what your e-commerce model is. If you're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. So whatever your model is, wholesale, if one of your goals is to create listings every single day, to be more consistent about that, then you should have a listing goal. It shouldn't be generic and vague and say, I just want to list every day. No, be specific, give it a number. I want to create 10 new listings a day. If that's the plan, that's the strategy, then do that. Set some goals for your business. If you're trying to become $1 million seller, what you need to do as a starting point is you need to know what your number expectations are. So you take your $1 million, you divide that by the remaining number of months in the year, the remaining number of weeks in the year, the remaining number of days in the year. You can get the remaining number of days by using Google. Google will give you almost anything that you ever wanted to know. And so that'll give you the remaining number of days. That will give you some insight into what you need to do every single day. What are my goal numbers? And you will determine what your goal numbers are. And initially, you may say, okay, maybe that's a really big goal. What does it call a big, hairy, audacious goal? So it's your BHAG. But if that goal is something that, okay, based on my life and what's happening and the amount of time I can commit to my business, that goal is not realistic for me right now. Maybe my goal for the year should be, I want to get to at least 100,000. That's fine. Still do that math so you know what your daily goal is, your weekly goal is, and your monthly goal is. Number 9 is stop multitasking. Absolutely. I suggest strongly that you focus on one thing at a time, whatever that is. That's the reason why I like time blocks better than checklists. But again, if you're going through the checklist, you can focus on that singular task as you move through the day. I also suggest, depending on how you run your business or how your life is structured, because again, I've always talked about the fact that I used to run my business in the pockets. I would do certain things in the morning, certain things in the afternoon, certain things in the evening. And you may have to do that because you may have to run your e-commerce business in pockets, and it's okay. So when you find these windows of time, whether it's 30 minutes here, an hour here, 2 hours there, you run your business the way that it flows for your life. Okay. Once you figure that out, again, from a multitasking standpoint, focus on one thing at a time in each one of those pockets. So if you're doing 30 minutes, like I've got a 30-minute pocket while my child is at speech therapy, and I'm going to work on this in the car, then what I'm going to do is, oh, hold on, this alarm. I have all kinds of people messaging me about stuff trying to sell here. Okay. So if I am doing speech therapy, if I'm taking my child to speech therapy and I only have 30 minutes to work on my business, maybe the one thing I'm going to do is I know that listings will generate money for me. It will generate revenue. So I am going to list for 30 minutes in the car while my child is in speech therapy. Again, focusing on one thing so you can continue to move the needle in your business. And that's how I ran my business. That's how I still run it. We don't go to speech therapy right now, but yeah. Allocate your time. So again, there's different tools that you can use to help you with managing your time, but allocating your time throughout the day. And as we go through the daily planning checklist, we check off like, okay, the things that I said that I wanted to work on during this window, this hour, whatever, did I actually get those things done? So the amount of time you spend on a thing and then the time that you dedicate to that particular activity. Number 11, create a morning routine. Absolutely. Some people like to get up. They like to read the Bible. They like to meditate. They like to go for a walk. They like to exercise. They just want to get some coffee and sit in silence, especially if they have a house full of kids. So you decide whatever your morning routine is. And then again, you want to get to a place where you hit the ground running for your day. So we're not trying to disrupt whatever your current morning routine is, whatever that morning routine is, hold on to it, Figure out how to incorporate it into this new plan that you have for your life and your business. If you don't have a new plan and you're just making adjustments or tweaking it, develop a morning routine that helps you to improve or increase or commit to your planned increased productivity. So whatever that plan is. Number 12, it says organize, exercise. Absolutely. So I have been walking more. And my goal is to continue that trend. I am a person that I don't always get up and walk because I get started working and then I have all these meetings lined up with my VAs first thing in the morning. And so by the time I get to a place where I'm ready to go for a walk, it's Texas, it's hot, it's Hades outside. So I have to get up an extra 30 minutes early to even be able to go walk outside, or either I have to walk late at night because in Texas, it is hot as Hades. So if you figure out when you want to exercise, but I encourage you to do that, it does actually help clear the brain. It actually helps with the endorphins and your energy level. And if you do it in the morning, I find that for me personally, it works out that if I do it in the morning, I actually have increased energy levels for a while. Number 13, using tools, all kinds of tools. I use all kinds of tools. I use the eCom planner. If you don't have one, you can go to www.myecomplanner.com and grab it. We have a digital version and we have the physical version. You can use that. I use the little kitchen timers that I get at the 99-cent store so I can dedicate my 1 hour of focus time. I use strategies where I play the focus and concentration music that is on YouTube. They have like 1 hour blocks and 2 hour blocks and 3 hour blocks. You can just Google the study music, and then that way I can play that in the background while I'm engaging in whatever task or activity I'm doing in my business. There's all types of apps that you can install on your phone. So these are all things that can help you with managing your time. There are other things that you can be doing that maybe you're manually doing some stuff. Maybe you're manually doing bookkeeping. Maybe you're manually doing some other things, creating listings, and it's taking you a long time. Then there might be some tools out there. Now, the one thing I do suggest that once you're into profit, meaning you're making money in your business, that's the right time to invest in tools. If you are not profitable, I do not recommend getting started by using tools immediately. You've got to learn how to do some things organically, and you've got to learn how long something takes. So before I outsource anything to a VA or I use a tool to do it, I need to learn the platform. I need to make sure I understand how to do it. So, but using tools long-term, bigger picture, I think that that's a good thing and something for you to look into. All right. So then reward yourself. I always say celebrate your successes. Celebrate every single time you get things done for the day. So sometimes my checklist is 20 things and I only get 8 things done. And that's just the way it is because life happens. You can't control emergencies, but you can control how you respond to those emergencies. So reward yourself. If you only get, if you are only able to get, 10 things done today, that's okay. It is all right. We're going to give ourselves some grace and mercy. We're going to get back up on that horse tomorrow and we're going to shoot for the stars. Now, we don't want to create an overly aggressive schedule that's unrealistic, but we do want to make sure that we're accounting for our time, getting better at killing the procrastination that is killing our business, and getting more focused and consistent. So reward yourself, celebrate those wins, celebrate when you get stuff done. I mean, okay, if you get your 10 listings done today, hey, break out some music. And then last, communicate. So communicate may or may not apply to you depending on how your business is structured. The only person you may be communicating with is yourself, unless you are ordering inventory directly from a wholesale supplier. You may not have a VA yet. You'll get to a place where you have a VA. But when you do get to that place, communicate with them. I would say the one thing you do need to do is you do need to communicate with your family. If you're single and you don't have, kids and you don't have a spouse or a significant other, and maybe you only have pets or a fish, I don't know, then you may not have a lot of people to communicate with. But when it comes to communication, definitely letting your family know, this is when mommy works, this is when daddy works, and I need you to go blah, blah, blah. So have a strategy set up to keep the kids distracted while you focus 100% on your business in that window. The other thing is, I would also communicate that with your family members that are outside of your house. Sometimes your mom likes to call for the week, or your girlfriend likes to call for the week, or your friend from college likes to call. You're like, oh, So if they're calling during your focused, committed, dedicated work time, don't pick up the phone. I'm sorry, don't pick up the phone. You can turn on an automatic replier that says, um, so that you can have them, let them know that you're working, and you'll call them back as soon as you're done. So if your committed work time is like 9 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you return those phone calls after 1 o'clock. So let people know, look, this is my work time. Just because I work from home does not mean I'm not working. So communicate that in whatever way it works for you. If your mom likes to call you every week, or your dad likes to call you every week, or your cousin, sister, whatever, say, hey, I'm taking calls after 1. Before 1, I can't talk to you. So, because that's your focus time. So, with that being said, I hope that's helpful. I am going to go now into the daily checklist. Again, we are live in Clubhouse. We're live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. We do these sessions every Monday through Saturday. We do them at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is the daily e-com planning session where we are focused on and committed to becoming the $1 million e-commerce seller that we've always wanted to be. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I am with eCom Sellers. And if you need some time, like you want to sit down and go through your schedule, your plan, your strategy for your business, you can schedule a free coaching session. You can go to ecomsellers.com, click on coaching, and schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. I'd love to look at your schedule and kind of walk through it with you, peel back the onion, pull back the sheets, and let's see what's happening in your business. The next thing is I encourage you to grab the e-commerce planner. You can go to myecomplanner.com, grab your digital version or your physical version of the e-commerce planner. It's a planner that was designed for sellers, by sellers, to help you track the things in your business that are going to help you move the needle to get to that $1 million seller status. So we're going through the daily e-commerce planning checklist, and it is in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You can go and download it now, absolutely free. So the first thing in our daily checklist is we're going to commit some time every morning and every evening to planning, like seriously planning what we're doing in our business. There are activities that every seller does, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you're doing drop shipping, private label, Shopify, Walmart, I don't care which platform. Every seller has to create listings because you can't make any money unless something is listed somewhere. Number 2, every seller is engaging in some level of a shipping related activity. Whether you're doing it, you've got an integration and it automatically gets fulfilled. So you have auto fulfillment, whether it's outsourced to a fulfillment center, whether you're sending stuff into a warehouse, whatever it happens to be, there is some level of a shipping component to your business. And every seller is doing product research. Every seller, or keyword research or listing research, every seller is performing or executing some level of sourcing. Doesn't matter. And every seller is engaged in some level of customer service, dealing with returns, refunds, because that's the nature of this business. That's the nature of the journey. So every seller is doing these things. So regardless of what model, what method of e-commerce, you're doing all of these things. There's other stuff that every sellers do, but those are the big components. The administrative stuff, the marketing, all of that are additional tasks that every seller is engaging in, hopefully. So the night before, today is Wednesday, so Tuesday night, I am hoping that you'll commit to 15 minutes of your life, dedicating it to planning for your future success, planning for tomorrow. So we're going to be intentional about that. We're going to take that 15 minutes, and sometimes you can get that 15 minutes really down to 5 minutes. So the first thing in that 5 minutes or 15 minutes is we're going to review the day. How did Tuesday go? How did things go? Were we able to get through our list? Were we not able to? What did we get done? What did we not get done? What do we move to tomorrow, which happens to be Wednesday? What do we move to next week? So looking at that and assessing our day, we're updating our tracking stats. So how many listings did we create? How many items did we sell? How many items did we ship? How many hours did we actually work in our business? So we're updating all the stats, and all of that's in the My eCom Planner. So go in and update all your stats. What were your sales for the day, your profits for the day? What was your what was your mileage? What were your expenses that you spent? Like all of that is, you can track that daily in your My eCom Planner. The next thing is you're going to go through and review your online calendar for tomorrow. So we're going to pull out that Gmail calendar, maybe your work online calendar. If you got Yahoo, iCloud, whatever you've got, pull out your online calendar. We're always throwing stuff on there. We put doctor's appointments on there. We take the dog to the vet, all kinds of stuff. Meet with the insurance guy, all of those things. So go look at the online calendar so that tomorrow, which happens to be Wednesday, is not a surprise. It's not a surprise when you get up in the morning and go, oh my God, I was supposed to take the kids to the dentist. Like, that's not a surprise. You put it on your calendar, you just forgot about it. So the goal is to not forget about stuff so that it doesn't become a crisis and you stop living in reactionary mode. Okay. The goal is not to live in reactionary mode. All right. And then the last thing that we're doing right before we go to bed is we're pulling together our schedule for tomorrow. So we're pulling together our schedule for Wednesday. If you participate in a weekly planning session, you pull out that weekly template that you built on Saturday and say, okay, it says on Wednesday, this is what I'm doing. You're going to assess and maybe pull some stuff from Tuesday, add it to Wednesday. And we're literally going to write out our schedule for Wednesday before we go to bed. We write down everything. We're accounting for our time that we're spending in our business and our time we're spending not in our business. Because again, we're working to improve our productivity everywhere in our life. Then, after we go through that checklist, that includes all your family and household stuff, your fitness and health, your financials, your personal, your spiritual, and everything related to your business. What are you doing for the day? I like time blocks. So I put everything in 1 hour time blocks or 30-minute time blocks. You can decide what works for you. The other thing is that if you don't like time blocks, you can put it in a checklist form. So figure out what are the things you need to get done in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening, or just build a checklist as a dump if you're not a person that's a time block. And then figure out of that checklist, what are the things I need to do in the mornings? What are the things I need to do by the afternoon? What are the things I need to do by the evening? Again, taking into account your most productive time of the day. Then we get to today. So we go to bed, go to sleep, we wake up, and now we're here. We're here. We get up, we execute whatever our morning routine is. If it means you got to go get coffee first, if that means you got to go walk the dog first, do that. And then let's settle into our day. So first thing, we're going to pull out our schedule from yesterday, Tuesday, and we're going to reassess yesterday. Why do we do that? It's because we need to make sure that we have not overlooked anything as we're working to regain control of where we're wasting time. If we're wasting time, if we're procrastinating, if we've been spending 2 hours on TikTok and 3 hours binge watching something on Netflix, we got to regain that time because those activities don't make us money. Watching TikTok for 2 hours doesn't make you any money. It makes the person on TikTok money. It doesn't make you any money. You don't make any money doing that. Same thing with Netflix. You're not making any money by sitting there binge watching Netflix. We're going to engage in income producing activities and we're going to stop wasting time because life is short. Time is finite. We don't get it back. Trust me, trust me, trust me. We don't get it back. So let's invest the time in the right stuff. So we're going to go back, look at Tuesday, make sure we accounted for everything, and it's going to help us build a better schedule for Tuesday in the future. That's why we do that. Then the next thing we're going to do as we kind of reassess Tuesday, we're going to fill in all the blanks and put it aside. Now we have this information. We can flip back through this and use it in the future for next Tuesday. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our weekly priorities and weekly habits. What are the things that we said we were tracking for this week or that we need to get done for this week that's a priority? So in our monthly planning session and in our weekly planning session, in the monthly planning session, which we're going to have one this Sunday at 7 a.m., we plan out what we're doing each one of the weeks in the month. So week 1 of the month, what are the priorities in our e-commerce business? For me, it's mainly the administrative stuff. In week 2, what are the priorities? Week 3, what are the priorities? Week 4, what are the priorities? And so this happens to be the 3rd full week of April. So what was on your agenda, your list for your weekly priorities? When you do your weekly planning session, you'll pull all that out. So you already know what the priorities are. You've already put it into your e-commerce planner. So you know what the priorities are for this week. If that means that you're sourcing for Father's Day, or you're sourcing for back to school, or you're finding suppliers for socks, whatever that happens to be, that was the priority for the week. And you're going to go ahead and execute those things this week. And you have to be mindful of them when you engage in your activities for Wednesday. The other thing is your habits. What are the things that you're tracking in your e-commerce business? So if you're tracking the number of listings, or if you're tracking shipments, if you're tracking sales, again, what are those habits that we're building? So if one of your habits has nothing to do with that, maybe it's just you need to get up and take more breaks, or you need to drink more water, or maybe you want to get faster at, taking product photos, whatever it happens to be, you're tracking something from a habit standpoint. So what are the habits that we're tracking this week? And you're going to be mindful of that for Wednesday. The next thing we're going to look at is our checklist, our monthly checklist. What did we have for all the goals? So you set a bunch of goals for the month. You set income producing goals, April goals, operational goals, marketing goals. Like you set a bunch of goals. Trust me, you did. There's like, I think in the planner, we've got like 20 different spots or 25 different spots where you're setting goals for the month because you're being intentional about moving your business forward to get to that $1 million status. So we're going to eyeball the goals to see, are we getting through the goals? Because you're in the third week of April. So you should have the majority, half of those goals should have been marked off by now because you're in the third week of April. If you did not mark off at least half of those goals, then you better get to checking, and you may need to adjust Wednesday because you got to start moving the needle because next week is the last full week of April. So all those goals have to be done. That's the objective. And then the fourth thing we're going to do today is we're going to pull out our schedule for Wednesday. We wrote it last night. When we went to sleep, our brain was thinking about, our subconscious mind was thinking about it. It was trying to reorganize the day, structure the day. And you will find that your brain does that over time if you do this consistently. When you first do it, it doesn't do it that much because you haven't trained your brain to do it. But over time, your brain will start to restructure and organize your day while you're sleeping because you went through your schedule before you went to bed. You get up, you reread your schedule that you already had, that you've already written. And based on the stuff that you checked, like you went through and revisited the weekly priorities, weekly habits, monthly goals, you may need to make some slight adjustments to the schedule you built last night. And it's okay. So you'll make some adjustments, you'll rewrite it, you'll reread it out loud to yourself so you can activate the subconscious to hand it off to your conscious mind and say, okay, here's the baton. It's your time to run with the schedule. Okay. And so your conscious mind is going to be like, okay, I'm in the driver's seat now, and I am going to execute this schedule. What you'll find is over time, as you get distracted throughout the day and you're wasting time doing different things, your subconscious and your conscious mind are going to be talking to each other and say, look, this is what you're supposed to be doing right now. It's not being on TikTok. It's not going outside to go talk to the neighbor about her rose bushes. That's not what you're supposed to be doing right now. Right now, you're supposed to be doing this thing right here. And so you're going to find that it brings you back to center over and over and over again because of the fact that you get this routine of going through your schedule at night and going through it in the morning. And as you read it, write it, speak it, you'll bring it back into existence and you'll get refocused and recentered for the day. And then last but not least, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and kind of eyeball what we have on the agenda for Thursday, especially with the fact that we went through and we looked at what the schedule was for the month and for the week. So that'll give you an idea of what stuff you need to add to Thursday, especially if you haven't gotten through half of the month checklist yet. So that's our schedule. That's our checklist. You can download this document in the e-commerce planning Facebook group and go through it every single day. Spend 5 to 15 minutes at night, 5 to 15 minutes in the morning, and then you hit the ground running and your day is ready to go. The last thing I do want to encourage you to do is as we go through this process of building structure, organization, getting more focused and consistent in our business, the one thing that you do need to keep in mind is things that you had planned that are going to disrupt your routine. So if your most productive time of the day is the morning, then your goal is not to schedule anything around in the morning unless you cannot help it. So if your doctor says, you got to get in for this appointment, and no matter what, you need to get in as soon as possible, the only thing they have available is the morning, then okay, fine. That means that the things that you had slated in that time block, whether it's 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, you got to move it to some other time in the day, which means you have to make adjustments to your schedule. So you need to be aware of those things that are disruptors, interrupters to your routine or your schedule, those things that are going to impact you in a negative way, things that you can control, and then the things you can't control, which are emergencies. The goal is to always get back up on that horse when you have those disruptors that happen. So an appointment where you got a call from the doctor that says, I need you to get in tomorrow to see the specialist, and you have to do this no matter what. It's okay. We're going to make adjustments to our schedule to move some things around. We're still going to work to make sure that we check off our habits. So whatever the habits are you're working to build, those are still important. Whatever the priority is for the day, those are still important. You may not get through as much as you wanted to for the day. You give yourself grace and mercy, you move on. The other thing is you want to also make sure that you're aware of those things that are major disruptors. This is where people break the routine and they really lose momentum in their business. So if you think about it, like the beginning of the year, people set their New Year's resolutions and they're ready to go, and then all of a sudden they don't make any progress in their journey to whatever the New Year's resolution is, whether it's to lose weight or whatever. They get going. Week 1, they're good. Week 2, they're good. Week 3, up, something happens, so then they're thrown off a little bit. So instead of working out 5 days a week, they work out 3. Okay, fine. So they do that for a couple of weeks. Then before you know it, by the second week in February, they're like only working out 1 day a week. And then by the end of February, they've stopped altogether. That's because there was an interruption. There was a disruption to the routine. They didn't have a plan in place, or something impacted it. My goal for you is to always get back up on that horse no matter what. So if you have those disruptions, like maybe your mom is having surgery and you got to go care for her, and your habit that you're working to build is to create 10 listings every day. If you could only create 1 listing, it's okay. While you're caring for your mom, continue to work towards at least accomplishing those habits, so that way, when you're done with whatever this disruption is, and it's only temporary, it's not permanent. Your goal is not to be that statistic that happens every single year around New Year's resolutions. That's not your goal. You don't want to be that statistic. Your goal is to get back up on the horse and get the consistency back into your business. So account for those disruptions, plan for those disruptions where you can, and get back on the horse. Get refocused every single day. Recommit to your business every single day. And don't let those disruptions stop you from gaining the momentum or sustaining the momentum in your business. Work on that. So still go care for your mom. Keep that habit. If you were doing 10 listings a day, drop it down to 1. So then that way, while you're caring for your mom, you can list 1 thing from your phone every single day, no matter what. Still keep a track of your, stats. You may not be able to spend as much time in your business. Maybe you work 5 hours a day in your business and now you can only work 30 minutes. It's okay. Do what you can so that you're still working in your business every single day. And as soon as you're done with whatever this disruption is, minor disruption, maybe the family's coming in to visit, so it's a minor disruption. Once it's over, go back to your regular schedule. So with that being said, I hope this was a blessing to you and your business. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm with eCom Sellers. If you need help with organizing, structuring your e-commerce business, you're more than welcome to join me daily and the daily planning sessions here live at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can also schedule some time with me by going directly to ecomsellers.com, clicking on coaching and scheduling a 20-minute coaching session with me so that we can go through your business. If you feel like you need support in your e-commerce journey, you can join eCom Sellers Academy. It's $17.99 a month. You're more than welcome to come hang out with us. We have weekly planning sessions every Tuesday. They are live. We also have over 200 training videos inside there from every e-commerce method and every e-commerce platform. And then last but not least, I want to encourage you to get the eCom Planner. You can go directly to myecomplanner.com, download the digital planner, or purchase the physical planner and start getting organized in your e-commerce business. So join me tomorrow, 7 o'clock, where we go through, I forget what tomorrow is. I think tomorrow is productivity. I never remember what they are, but we're going to go look and see what tomorrow is. Today was time management, and I hope this was a blessing to you. Go out, go crush it in your e-commerce business, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll say bye for now. Bye, y'all.